Now, I'm going to start this video out by highlighting a couple of lines taken from A New Hope, ones I'm pretty sure most Star Wars fans will know and remember, and they're spoken in an exchange between Princess Leia and Grand Moff Tarkin shortly before Alderaan is destroyed, and it starts out by Leia saying, "The more you tighten your grip, Tarkin, the more star systems will slip through your fingers." And Tarkin, of course, replies, "Not after we demonstrate the power of this station." And the true irony in Tarkin's response here is that we now know after seeing Rogue One that it's thanks to the construction of the Death Star that the individual rebel cells finally had a great enough threat to set aside their differences and to band together to form and solidify the Rebel Alliance, an alliance that would go on to defeat the Empire. In other words, what the Empire did in an effort to end any and all threat actually created that which would ultimately destroy them. And though once upon a time, I think we can all agree Star Wars was like an empire that we could never conceivably see falling, as it was being supported by some of, if not the most devoted and passionate fans of any franchise out there. But that's all started to change as of late, and it's hard to deny that at least some cracks have started to form in its otherwise impervious foundation. For example, Solo, the most recent movie released, is the first Star Wars film that actually lost money at the box office, something that many would have thought to be impossible thanks to the name of the brand alone. And yeah, I know there are many reasons given for the failure of Solo, such as the timing of its release, or the fact that most fans didn't even want a movie about Han Solo's younger days in the first place. And I'm sure that may have played at least some part. But we're talking about Star Wars here. We're again talking about the biggest, most beloved franchise in the world, hands down. We're talking about a franchise where in the past, fans have camped out for tickets and waited in line for days, if not weeks, to see the newest movie. A franchise where we didn't used to ask, "Have you seen the new movie?" but instead asked, "How many times have you seen it?" And yet here we are, 4 movies into the Disney era of Star Wars, and we already have fans, and some of them have been here since 1977 when it all started, who are now saying they're done with it, or saying they're going to boycott it until things change. And the official response from Disney and Lucasfilm has been pretty much silence. Silence while a sizable percentage of their fan base or customers get called toxic, or worse, by some in the mainstream media, and even by some of Disney and Lucasfilm's own employees. Basically here, Disney and Lucasfilm have stood by and done nothing, while others around them, or associated with them, or even employed by them, tighten their grip upon the haters, as they're labeled at best, and sexists, racists, and bigots at worst, and watched as what are actually just fans, along with their money, get pushed further and further away from this franchise, because in most cases, they just had some issues with one movie and tried to offer up valid and legitimate reasons as to why they didn't like it, only to have those reasons ignored and to be told that they have an ulterior motive for disliking the movie. And look, I get it, Disney, I really do. You're probably afraid if you come out and try and defend or sympathize with the so-called haters and say that you understand their arguments and their point of view, you'll have the mainstream media attacking you for defending the side of the fandom that has been dubbed by the mainstream media a bunch of ignorant and intolerant people who are against diversity in Star Wars or whatever other nonsense they say, when in reality these people just didn't like one movie and think you can do better with Star Wars. So instead of trying to do something, anything to unite this fanbase, you seem prepared to sit back and watch as a good chunk of the fanbase that you inherited when you bought this franchise just crumbles away. All the while, I'd assume you're hoping that new fans will come into the fold to replace and even exceed what is being lost. But with the amount of Star Wars toys and merchandise that seem to be rotting on store shelves, I'm not sure that is going as well as you had hoped. And what really confuses me about your actions, Disney, is that you seem to lack any sort of control over your employees. Countless times disgruntled fans have been attacked or belittled on social media by some of the more prominent people associated with Star Wars today. How you can allow Rian Johnson, for example, to call some fans, or should I say your customers, man babies is beyond me. Or do nothing when he lends credence and credibility to some absurd study that suggests half the people who speak negatively about The Last Jedi on social media are actually just Russian bots. I mean, yeah, I'm flattered that apparently the Russians think so highly of Star Wars that destroying it might destabilize the United States, but come on here. Even if it is somehow true, I'm not sure the director of the movie should be commenting on this and throwing fuel on what is already a raging fire, and pushing more fans away or more of your customers away. Because the more it gets insinuated that Russian bots are responsible for the hate, or that there really isn't that many haters in the first place, or that most of the hate just comes from bigots anyway that should be ignored, the more fans who just didn't like one movie for their own good reasons, are going to get fed up and walk away from your franchise. And this is now where I'd like to make one thing very clear. It's something Disney should be saying, but I'll say it for them. Personally, I think a vast majority of Star Wars fans, and I call you a fan no matter how you may feel about one movie or all of Disney Star Wars in general, are good, awesome people and great fans. I know a lot of you out there who watch my videos disagree with me about The Last Jedi, and that's absolutely fine. You are as much entitled to your opinion as I'm entitled to mine. And having the privilege of putting these videos up on YouTube that a good number of people watch, and I do thank and appreciate all of you who do watch, doesn't make my opinion any more valid or important than anyone else's out there. At the end of the day, I'm just a fan like all of you, and I want what's best for this franchise. And that's really what I think we've lost sight of as a fandom, that we all want what's best for the franchise. We all want what's best for Star Wars. We're fighting a battle where both sides want the exact same thing, and now it's gotten to a point where it's so ridiculous that someone has published a study saying Russian bots are trying to destroy Star Wars. And instead of fans being outraged about such a thing maybe even being a possibility, as absurd as it may sound, it's instead just driving a wedge further between these two sides. And it's really about time to just face the facts here, or the reality of the situation. There are people who liked The Last Jedi, and there are people who didn't. And both of these sides are made up of the exact same thing: Star Wars fans. And by this point, I think people's minds are pretty much entirely made up in regards to The Last Jedi. I don't think many people are likely going to change what they think or how they feel about it. The idea that one side or the other can ever prove that the other side is wrong or that they are the minority is never going to happen. And the thing is, even if you've been happy with all things Disney Star Wars, and to be honest, the one and only big gripe I've had against Disney thus far has been The Last Jedi. But anyway, even if you're the happiest, most satisfied customer in the world right now and have loved everything, I urge you to neither bury your head in the sand and ignore the problems that are there with this franchise. And I again point to the fact that a Star Wars movie lost money at the box office, which was once considered unthinkable, but has happened after only 4 movies into the Disney era. And nor should you ignore or try and belittle those fans who just didn't enjoy the movie, or worse yet, label them and be glad to see them go. Because fans leaving the franchise is not something to be celebrated, it's something to be lamented. And yes, this is a two-way street, and if you're one of those fans that hated The Last Jedi and rants and raves about it irrationally and attacks those who did like it, you're not helping either, nor are you going to be taken seriously. I certainly have no issues with those of you out there who say you're done with Star Wars, or those who want to, shall we say, peacefully boycott in the hopes that things will get better. But slinging insults makes you no better than Rian Johnson, who calls some fans man-babies. And if all this keeps up, Russian bots won't be needed to destroy Star Wars. The fans will do it themselves. Well, that's all I've got for this time. Now it's your turn to tell me what you think about anything or everything I had to say here. So leave a comment below, and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.